We'll just go with it. Okay, so hey guys, I'm Randi Pearson. I'm here with Natalie Collins. If you don't know her, you should be connected with her. What we're going to talk about today is human design and the four types in relationship to decision making. Now, if you spend any time with me at all, you know that I'm pretty much a go-getter. I'm very ambitious. I always have been, but I want to say that it's this soulful ambition. There is something that has been driving me in my life that is deep down into my core, and Natalie will help us understand why that is. But it's really something that is in my soul, in my gut, in my true nature. And I've really just been a very clear decision maker. And it's one of the things that I believe is holding so many women and women entrepreneurs back from the life that is available to them. And so Natalie is here to support us in clarifying those four types that we're going to talk about, and how, as you, as that type, can make effective and decisions that are in flow with your true nature. And I will say, in full transparency, I am a manifesting generator. Natalie is a projector. But as a manifesting generator, Natalie will go into the details of how that whole thing unfolds. But I will say, full transparency, I'm a pretty damn clear, powerful decision maker. And that has always been something that's been within me, but I've fine-tuned it as I've gotten more life experience. So I will ask Natalie to expand on how that dialed in decision-making can help you really eliminate the suffering and the emotional, I call it emotional quagmire, right? What do I do? Do I do this? Do I do that? Blah, 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 the suffering that we put ourselves through. Really, I brought Natalie along with us today to help us understand how can we get clear about our truth, what's right for us, make a decision in alignment with our true nature, so that we can do that in the cleanest, most effective, and most efficient way possible. So does that sound good, Natalie?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So would you like to start? We didn't rehearse this. By the way, this is totally off the cuff. Natalie and I have known each other for several years, and we're good friends and good colleagues. So we're just going to riff on this and see how it unfolds organically. So do you want to go first, or do you want me to talk about?
Yeah, so this has actually been really fun because I just recently introduced Randi to human design and what a manifestor is. Manifestor, manifesting generator, generator, projector, and reflectors. Those are actually the 5 types. So there are 4 main types, but there's generator, and manifesting generator is a hybrid, which is what Randi is, which makes the 5th type in human design. So I don't want this to be like this huge in-depth class on human design. It is a very, very deep and robust and complex system. So I'm going to give you some basic overview of what the heck this is, what a human design chart looks like, and I'll bring this up. This is Randi's human design chart, and what it means to be a generator, a manifesting generator, manifestor, projector, or reflector. And then going in, each type has a different way that you interact in the world and how the world is designed to interact with you back. And when you start realizing how that is, because most of us in this society today have been conditioned incorrectly, and which causes a lot of turmoil and pain and hardship that we perceive because the world's not acting and interacting with us the way that is in alignment with our true nature because of the incorrect conditioning that has happened to us, which is quite the shame. However, we now have this information to help get us out of that conditioning and decondition ourselves and to start getting back into the flow that we are here to experience. And when you understand more about your particular type, and then how you're designed to make decisions, it helps to give you these guideposts and what it is that you're looking for and how to make these correct decisions so that you can start really living that authentic life that just lights you up, and feels good every day to get up and do the work that you're here to do. So with this, the generators and manifesting generators make up 70% of the population. And so most of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about is designed for generators and manifesting generators. So if you don't have a human design chart, the one that you're looking at here is at mybodygraph.com. You can go in. It's based off your birth date data information. You can go and get one there. You can message me on Facebook if you want to with your birth info. I can pull one for you. However it is that you want to do this, I'm open. But what we're going to be looking for, the big thing, if my fingers don't get in the way, is this square right here. And this is going to be the main thing that we're going to focus on. If the square is colored in or red, or if it's white, which is open. So there's a definition, and the definition means that if it's colored in, that means that you have consistent energy that creates the generator or manifesting generator energy. This energy that comes from you, what that Randi was talking about, that gut instinct that comes from the belly and this deep sense of knowing. 70% of the population has this, but most people have been conditioned out of not trusting that response, which is such a shame. But we're here to show you how to get back into that and how to trust it and how to listen to it, because this is your guidance system. If you have this as a definition, this is your consistent guidance system that you have of, yes, this is right for me, or no, that's not right for me. And that is something that you can trust. So getting back into how to trust it will help get you back into where the flow is for you. Now, if you're not in the space of following that, or have never been taught about this, or have never been taught to trust your gut on this, you're going to feel frustration. And it's going to be this deep, deep frustration that a lot of generators and manifesting generator adults experience in their life. Sometimes it is so deep they don't know how to get out of it. So it's really intense, deep frustration. However, frustration is your emotional guidepost that says, hey, something's off. This is not how you're supposed to be feeling. Something is off. And it could be just a little switch to flip it over to what you want to be experiencing, which is satisfaction. Satisfaction that you're doing a good job, that you are doing the work that you're here to do, that you are satisfied at the end of the day with whatever it is you're experiencing. So generators and manifesting generators have two ways that they can make decisions based off of this sacral center. And both of it is an inner authority. One is the emotional authority, and the second is the sacral authority itself. So this square, or this triangle over here, this brown triangle, is the emotional center, the emotional solar plexus center inside of the human design chart. Now, 50% of the population actually has this center defined, so there's a good chance that you may have emotional authority. There's a 50-50 chance, let's just put it that way. So the emotional authority, what happens with that is your gut response will give you a yes or no. And if you have emotional authority, then you need to process it. So for you, there's no decision in the now. It's something that really needs to be, you need to sleep on it. You need to take a step back and mull it over for a little bit and really feel it out. And there's going to be a wave that happens. There's going to be this up and down wave of kind of like this high part of the emotion and a low part of the emotion. But it's really about this experience that you're going to go through with this decision. And then when the wave has done doing its thing, because there's no rational thing to emotions themselves, it's just got to do its thing. When you get to the point where the wave has stopped, that's when you reach emotional clarity. And that's when you can start really stepping into the decision-making process. knowing that you are clear and ready to go. So with a generator and manifesting generator, you're actually here to respond to things. You have a big enveloping aura that's always bringing things to you. And so you're able to respond to things all day, every day. Things are just always coming to you. Like, no. So, is that gut yes? And is that gut no? And that's like, you really will feel it down, like deep down in that gut space. And so then you can start feeling your way of what's correct for you and what's not correct for you in that. And so people who have emotional authority, you need to respond to what's coming to them, yes and no. Ride that emotional wave and get clarity on, yes, it's the right thing for me, or no, it's not. And then the trick is, with both the generators and manifesting generators, is to then let things come to you in your outer reality to tell you when it's time to go. Tell you when it's time to move forward and take action. See, it's this constant dance that happens with your surroundings, with the universe, with everyday life. Things are always coming to you. And so the misconception is that most generators and manifesting generators have been conditioned to just do it, which is actually for the next type, which is a manifester. So generators and manifesting generators are not designed to just do it. You're designed to wait for the response, become in that dance and in alignment with what's coming to you and the universe itself, and what's that correct yes. And then when you get your cues, then take action and move forward. So there's that little bit of a dance wiggle room, whereas a manifester does not have this defined sacral center right here. So they move differently in the world. Their decision-making process is different. So with a manifester, they get divine downloads and inspiration, and they're here to actually bring in new ideas, new thought forms, new processes to do things, and then push the energy out and move it forward. And so because they're here to move things forward in this way, there's this wave of impact that happens when it runs up against other people. And so they need to inform that this impact is coming. And it can actually feel really uncomfortable for a manifestor to inform that this is coming. But once they start getting into that, hey, if I don't, you can realize if they don't tell people that things are coming, then they run up into resistance, and people kind of freak out around them. Like, you didn't tell me that was coming. You didn't tell me this was happening. I don't know what to do, because they didn't give them the chance to respond in accordance to how they're designed. And so if, as a generator or manifesting generator, if you have this energy coming to you, you get to respond yes or no to this. So as the manifester comes in and wants to push this energy, this new creative form out into the world, the generator gets to respond yes or no. Is this right for me, or is this not? And so the manifester needs to say, hey, I'm doing a thing. You want to join me or not? And then the generator can go yes or no. So there's this dance that happens with the generator and the manifesting generator and manifestors. So you have two sides of the spectrum with this now. You have generators and you have manifestors. And what Randi is this hybrid in the middle of a manifesting generator. So once
I will just disclose, some days it's sort of like, who am I today?
Right. So here's the cool thing about the manifesting generator. So you have this response that you're always responding yes and no to. Once you're in your yes, then you flip over into manifest mode. And that's when you can push the energy forward and make things happen. But that response needs to happen first, because your aura first is designed to respond to the things that are coming to you. And then you can turn around and push it out. So it's this really cool dance with that you get to do. But then once you're pushing energy and moving things forward, you need to inform people that this is coming, that this is happening, because it's going to impact them. So you got to look at who is this impacting around you and just let them know what's happening so that there's no freakouts, so that there's peace with everyone and everyone's doing their thing.
Yeah.
So then you have the projector, who is me, comes along, and the projectors are here to guide the energy types. Now, the generators, the manifesting generators are energy types. The manifestors are also an energy type, just in a different way without the sacral center, but they're still an energy type. So they still have a lot of energy that gets expressed out in a different way. So the projector comes along, and the projector is here to be wise about how the energy is used. So the projector is kind of up here saying, I see what you guys are doing. You can do this way, this way, and this way, and this way. Oh, hey, have you ever thought about doing it over here? But the thing is that the generators and manifesting generators and even manifestors, the projector is here to guide the types, but it really needs to be by invitation only. Because if they come in and just try to like bark orders on what to do, the generators and manifesting generators and even the manifestors would be like, who are you? What are you doing? Like, why are you telling me what to do? Like, what's up with this? It's like, it can feel very invasive and abrasive in a sense and kind of icky because
and as a manifesting generator, I can say it's sort of like, don't get in my business. I know who I am and what I need to do. Don't get in here.
Yes.
Got this. Yeah.
But there are those particular projectors who are designed to guide particular generators and manifesting generators and even manifestors when the invitation is correct. And so if you have the correct projector coming into a room, and all of a sudden, if you're a generator or manifesting generator, or maybe even a manifester, they operate a little differently. That's why they're kind of their own unique person. But mainly with generators and manifesting generators, all of a sudden the projector aura enters the room. And if it's the correct energy to guide you as a generator or manifesting generator, you get to respond to that energy of yes or no. Like, ooh, there's something about that person. I got to get to know them. And then you can actually go and, in a sense, initiate a conversation with this projector. But what you're actually doing is responding to that energy of saying, hey, you have something that I need and I don't know what it is, but I want to know more about you. And then that's the invitation to the projector that this could be a really harmonious relationship between the two of you.
Yes.
And so then when that harmonious relationship happens, the projector feels seen and heard and really honored for their guidance. And then they get to feel success, which is what they're here to feel. But really, it's success in guiding the other person and being seen and heard in the correct way. That's what success markers are to the projectors. Mm-hmm. And so it becomes this even more intricate dance that happens with everyone when we're all playing our correct role. The thing with the projector is, most projectors, at least that I know, that have not gone through the deconditioning process, have been conditioned to become the super slaves. Because what happens is a projector is a really deep well of knowledge, and they're here to master systems. And then once they've mastered the system, they're here to guide the generators and manifesting generators through the systems. And that feels really good for everyone involved. But a lot of times the projector can get recognized as doing the system really well and then get expected to follow and implement the system 10, 12 hours a day. But that will burn a projector out because they don't have the life force energy that the generators and manifesting generators do to do it all day, every day. They're here to be the guides, but they're here to learn it first, but not actually do the work. So the recognition can come and a lot of them get put into super slave modes, which I've been there as a projector myself. I have been there. and I've come out the other side, and I tell you it's glorious. To come out the other side,
Right.
to actually
Yeah.
like step into the guide mode and be honored in that way. So, but if you're around a projector who is in super slave mode, it can look really cool for a little bit, but there's also the energy that for them, they can become really bitter about it because they're not being seen and heard in the correct way. And I will tell you, nobody wants to be around bitter projector. It's just like, it can come out as a lot of negativity. So like the generator has frustration, manifesting generator has frustration. The manifester has anger. We didn't even talk about that part. So they have anger as their guidepost because they get mad if people get in their way, but they just need to tell people it's coming. And then there can be harmony and they're looking for peace. Now the projector will have bitterness come up. And so if there's a bitter projector in around you, like it's actually very repelling because it's their natural energy that's being put off of saying, look, I'm burnout. I'm not being seen and recognized the right way. I kind of got to like go back and recalibrate my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which can lead to a lot of frustration for the projector. But actually when they allow themselves to take a step back and take a break and start getting out of the bitterness and into successfully guiding people, they're beautiful people to be around. And that's, so the more that we can start stepping into these unique roles that we have here to play, the more we all start really working in harmony and can really start operating on our own unique way in a way that feels good to everyone around us. So then 1% of the population is these rare reflectors that we have. And they're here to actually reflect back to us the health of the community. So projectors are here to guide the community into making sure everybody's working right. And then reflectors come back and say, are things working or not? Is this a healthy tribe or not? Is this a healthy community or not? And they won't even really realize it, but if they walk into a room and they're like really grumpy, something's off in the room. It's not just them. It's actually like the surroundings. So it's really, truly important for a reflector to be in a really healthy community that's right for them, for them to reflect back. So those are the 5 types. Now within this whole mix-up, there are 7 different inner authorities that go in this. We talked about the emotional authority being one of them, which is 50% of the whole population. The next is the sacral authority, which is just for generators and manifesting generators. And we talked a little bit about that. For manifestors, it's going to be either emotional, there is, and the willpower center. And then they can have the root center defined, but they need to have a motor that goes directly. And the motors are the willpower center, the emotional solar plexus, the sacral center, which they will not have, or the root center. And the root center may come up through the splenic center and then connect to the throat. So they may be splenic authority as well. And so through that makeup, each one of those has a different explanation of how they feel their own authority. So with the splenic center, it is in the moment, is this healthy for me? Is it not healthy for me? Type of energy. And it's all about learning how to be present and in the moment. And this is also a energy that can come to the projector as well. There's a lot of splenic projectors. The next is the willpower center, which is actually mine as a projector, but it's mostly found in manifestors. And the manifestor is all about like, what do I want to do? And what the want is, it comes from the egoic center, more of the what's coming into the physical. And it ends up being healthy for the tribe to have the quote unquote selfishness.
Mm-hmm.
Like it can seem really egoic at the time, but it's actually for the best of the tribe, to bring this and manifest this into form. So like what wants to come through, what do I want to create type of thing.
Yeah.
Which will be correct for them. And then we move into the projectors, who have emotional authority, splenic authority, the ego authority, and then the self authority, which is the heart. And I'm looking at this because I've shown it to you guys. But this right here is the G center, the heart center, which can be connected directly up to the throat center right here for a projector. And what that is the heart of heart center of who they are gets expressed out through the throat. And so they actually need to hear their own self-expression and then ask themselves, does this actually sound like me? So it's, if they've gone off of this road for a while, it's a recalibration into discovering what that actually sounds like, how that comes through for them. And then if there's nothing defined, if everything below the throat center is white, which is the lack of definition or inconsistency, and things above the head are defined, or above the throat, the head and the ajna, if any of those three are defined, those are called mental projectors. And they need a sounding board. Or some of the, there's a lot of different human design software out there that'll give you different explanations of this particular one. But what it really is they need a sounding board. Their inner authority is actually, it'll say like no inner authority or outer authority or a mental projector. But what they need is a sounding board that they need to like talk about it and bounce it off of other people and get the response back. And when they get the yes, they'll actually feel it throughout their body. And they're like, oh, that's the right decision for me to make. And so they need that sounding board of people who don't have an agenda attached to it, that just let them bounce the idea off of them and to get their honest response. Because if they have like a whole bunch of people that they all trust and they all have their best intention at heart and they're all telling, no, don't do that, like they got to listen.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody else who has a different inner authority, where they know that this is the right direction, everybody else around them is saying no, they still need to follow their inner authority. So there's that, it's a completely different dynamic. Mm-hmm. And then the reflectors, the really cool thing about reflectors is they will have every single center in their chart as white. So they're open. And they are so in tune with what happens around them that they're also incredibly in tune to the moon cycles. And every day that the moon cycles through the chart, they feel differently and they react differently to something because it affects them in a different way. And so their strategy is that they need to actually wait 28 days before making a big decision, because they need to feel it out through all 28 days through the lunar cycle to get their clarity. And they can talk about it, mull it over, meditate on it, however they need to process through the different nuances of what can happen with this decision. Then they'll come to their clarity after the 28-day cycle has happened. So that is a brief overview of all of the all of the authorities, all the different ways that we're designed, and how unique everyone is to make their decisions based on their strategy as their type, and then in combination with their inner authority or outer authority as to how they work and function. So,
oh my gosh.
Was this helpful, Randi?
Oh my gosh, so much information. And you know what I love, because we've talked about this several times, but what I loved about how you explained that is how they all work together. Like that is the brilliant piece. And it's something that, I don't know about anybody else. I tend to attract clients who have had challenging childhoods because I had a challenging childhood. I was not supported in my true nature. And what I love now about knowing that I'm a manifesting generator and that those centers down in my core are, activated. Listen, that's what got me through my childhood, were those energy centers of knowing who I was, what I desired, and what was possible for me. I mean, that's what got me from, those early days of trauma and struggle into, so that's all we have to do. Just listen to what we feel is right for us and then do it, right?
Right.
And so anyway, that was all brilliant and beautiful. And I had so many questions. I was trying not to interrupt you. I had so many questions as you were explaining everything, but I'd love it if we could just briefly talk about, since I'm a manifesting generator, you're a projector, if we could sort of just play a role with some details about how we've made decisions, and we can at least help those people who are watching this recording. So would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Go ahead and go first.
Okay, perfect. So as a manifesting generator, I loved how you explained it, because this is something that we talked about actually in my consult with you. I was like, well, wait a minute. I'm not one to hem and haw, but I do know that there are decisions like moving, large investments usually, car, like that's sort of like the joke. I know that Lee, he's a manifesting generator, and he drives you crazy with his whole, like talking about a car for a year before he buys it.
Yep.
Before he buys it. But here's the thing. I am very clear about a couple of things. Number one, I don't make decisions on anything that hasn't come into my awareness, because if it's not in my awareness, I don't think about it. I don't worry about it. It's not something I need to deal with. And without being able to understand that I was a manifesting generator and that I was literally, my job is to respond to my environment, I have always operated like that. And in my earliest days, and as part of my branding, I talk about being a teenager growing up on the other side of the freeway from La Jolla, which was, it's a working class neighborhood. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it wasn't right for me. I wanted to be on the other side of the freeway in La Jolla. And I remember very clearly that was a yes. Claremont was a no for me. And I remember just being very clear from as far back as I can remember, yes, no. I mean, I remember walking out into a parking lot. I was probably 6 or 7. And again, working class family, right? We all had like Chevys and Fords and Plymouths, right? We walked out of the grocery store, and there was this brand new Mercedes convertible SEL. And I was like, ooh, nice car. And I literally in my belly felt a yes. And that is how I've operated before I even understood what all of that meant as a manifesting generator. But if it's a clear yes, there are times when I run through my emotional authority, literally like so fast. I mean, it happens in a couple of seconds, and then I'm clear. Yes, we're doing that. Or it's a no, and I let it go. And there are things, like I said, with larger investments, it can take me some time I don't make decisions until I am clear, once I've processed the emotional authority. And sometimes that can happen in split seconds. I mean, I can run through my inner authority, those emotions, in about 2 seconds flat. And then there are times when it takes a couple of months or, whatever. I mean, I've been thinking about buying a second car for several months now. And I'm like, here's a perfect example of how I operate as a manifesting generator, where like bigger decisions that take time, I haven't had a clear yes. And when I bought the car that I have now, which is a very cute red Beetle, it was a clear yes. I saw it on the lot and I was like, yes. And then I went and bought it like that day. Like there was no quagmire. And until I have that clear yes, I don't decide on anything. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And so it also helps that you're responding to things in your outer reality. Because you may have been, like with the car, for example, you may have been mulling over, you want to get a new car, not sure exactly what it's going to look like yet, not sure exactly which one yet. And then the moment you see it, then it's a yes.
Yes.
But you've been emotionally processing through it already through that emotional wave that you have. And then when the timing was right, then it clicked into place and you were able to take quick action on it and make it happen.
Yes.
So that becomes the whole dance with the universe, in a sense of how are you responding, and then taking quick action when it is a yes, because then you have the energy to then move forward and just make it happen.
Yeah. And I also love that you clarified that inner and outer energy, right? The inner response, the response from the universe, as opposed to moving outward, the difference between the manifesting generator and the manifester. Because there are times when I can feel like I am pushing and I know not to do that because it's not in alignment with who I am. So I've got to go inside, get clear about what I desire, go through the emotional process. And if it's a yes, then I move forward. And then it feels clean. I mean, that's a word that I use a lot with decision making, is the energy feels clean.
Mm-hmm.
There's not any of this. Listen, as women, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about decision making, we make ourselves suffer by attaching all of this stuff to our decisions. And the truth is, it's a very clean process if we are being true to who we really are and how we process information and how we make decisions and how we can actually create massive change in our life very quickly when we're aligned.
Exactly. And there's a lot of the conditioning that's happened through society that has been the clog in the wheel, in a sense. It has clogged up the emotions, because if you have emotional authority and haven't been allowed or shown or allowed yourself, or whatever the case may be, or there can be a lot of blockages around not showing emotions, suck it up buttercup type of conditioning that happens, that is a shame in its own way, but it's also a chance for you to be able to learn, if you have the emotional authority, what is the experience that it is that you want to have? What kind of emotions do you experience? What do you need to work through in order to really release out, so that you can get to that clear spot and trust your emotions in going through the ups and downs with all of this, and then be able to come clear through the other side. So I love, Randi, that you have just led yourself down this path where there's not a lot of deconditioning that needs to happen, because you're so clear with the process as it is, and you just intuitively tapped into this, which is really fun.
Yeah, it is. And to be honest with you, I'm not perfect. I mean, there are still decisions that, and I talked about this recently, I think in an Instagram story. I haven't made decisions, and I really believe that once you make the decision, the process of making a decision is cutting away any of the BS, cutting away any other option, cutting away the noise. Because at the end of the day, we are spiritual beings in human bodies. We already know what we want. We already know what we need. We already know what to do. And removing all of this noise, which is conditioning, like 98% of it. Once we remove that, then the process is very clear, from getting where you want to be to where you are to where you want to be. And I'm so passionate about it. And I was so happy that, we had this discussion. I mean, you just literally in the very early stages just said, well, let's do your chart. And I was like, okay. Okay.
Let's pull it.
Well, and what I loved about that is that was your projector stepping in and going, hey, babe, let's check it out.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit more about your role as a projector and your decision-making process from that?
I can. So as a projector, I and the other projectors are here to guide the energy to make sure that it's being used correctly. Because generators and manifesting generators, because they have that sacral center, it is the strongest center in the entire system. It is incredibly powerful. And if you have it, a lot of times people don't know what to do with all of that energy. And so it can cause things like people to get on a hamster wheel and go round and round and round and round and round and round and round. And so a projector comes in and says, I see you're spinning your wheels with stuff. Would you like a solution to your problem?
Right.
I have an answer for you. And sometimes it can be like, for the projector, it can be the most obvious thing. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I have been called Captain Obvious. Like, thank you, Captain Obvious, because it wasn't actually invited solutions, which was very hurtful to me when I was younger. But now that I understand how a projector energy is, I understand how the invitation works. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't invited. Got it. Y'all have fun on your hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Like, have at it. But as a projector coming in, they can guide the energy types to saying, oh, have you thought about this? And for the manifesting generator, who's been spinning their wheels for so long because they're just down in the dirt doing the work and really just trugging along and not being able to see where to go next, the projector says, hey, look, there's a little door over there. Open the door. And it opens them up to a completely different world, and they're off to the races again and off the hamster wheel. And so for the right connection, it's such a blessing for the two to be in connection with each other, because then the projector steps back and says, oh, I did my job. Yay, they listened to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it becomes really fun. And so what I've realized on how my projector energy works is that when I'm in connection with a generator, manifesting generator, I can feel their sacral center, and I can feel when the yes happens and when the no happens, because I'm open and in tune with that. The yes and no, like if they're saying no, but their energy says yes, I will question them, because that may be a belief system or a block that they have they can't get past because of the conditioning. But if their energy is saying yes, that's where I come in and I can tap in and tune into that and get them out of that block and out of that conditioning and into the real yes of what wants to happen. So I do a lot of big picture stuff. Part of my gift has been to, I see the big picture, and I can guide people from beginning to end through the picture, even though they can only see this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just continue to guide them along. There's that door. There's that door. There's that door. And they're able to build and grow and create the business that just lights them up.
Yeah.
And so, when you're showing up every day to do the work that you're here to do is incredibly satisfying. And as a projector, I get to come in and say, hey, here's how you get to improve it. Here's how it gets even better. Here's how, oh, have you thought about doing it this way? And there's this beautiful guidance that happens between the two, and there's a harmony with that. And so they get it. The manifesting generators get this deep satisfaction from doing the work. And then the projector is able to really feel successful in guiding the energy types to doing the work that they're here to do and build the new earth that we're creating.
Yeah.
In the correct way, because projectors are very intuitive of knowing once they're hooked in and the invitation is correct. My throat center right here is open. Yours is defined. And so.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yes. And so what I've learned with that, with having an open throat center, is that when I am hooked into and connected with the right person, I just have to let whatever wants to come out of my mouth. And there's no planning. There's no matter how much I'm circling in my head of what it is that I want to say, whatever's going to come out is going to be different. So I just got to go with it, because I have to trust that whatever's coming out is actually what needs to be said in order for the other person to hear it. So I just got to go with it, you know? Yeah. So then it becomes really fun. So when I'm coaching with someone, I sometimes I'll have an idea of like, oh yeah, so they need to be guided in this direction. And that may or may not come up depending on what they need in the moment. And I just let it happen the way that they need to happen. And that's part of the projector gift, is being able to come in and intuitively know what little step that the manifesting generator needs to take next, what direction they need to go this time. That's how projectors are tuned to being able to guide in this way. They're designed to guide. And so they intuitively come into the picture and know exactly what needs to happen. But if you're feeling that projector energy come in and you know that they got something that you need, but you don't know what it is, that's when you can invite them to have them give you guidance. Because they just intuitively know, and it may just come out of their open throat or come out in a different way, but you'll get what you need from the correct projector.
That's so amazing. And I want to ask you a question, because I think this is an important point to make. And let me make this first, and then I'll come back to my other question about you being a projector, and how that relates to me being a manifesting generator. So first, I love what you said about the big picture thing for projectors and not getting sucked down into the incessant work or the hard work or the lower energy that will end up draining you, because you guys do have inconsistent energy and you have to honor that. So when you're on, and then when you're done, you're done. And you got to be able to have a life and a business that you can disconnect from and let go of. And this is something, because now I'm sort of thinking in my head of past clients that I've worked with. I wonder if they're projectors, because one of the things that I found challenging in helping them get their business to where it needed to be to support them where they wanted to go was the heaviness around the details and the work. Like they were almost resistant to the work that had to be done. And so now I'm like sort of thinking in my mind, but I love what you said about that, because I think this is an important thing, especially if you are a projector entrepreneur. You have to design your business very intentionally. Very intentionally, and you've got to have lots of space and lots of resting rooms. So do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so it's actually really, really funny that you bring this up. So generators and manifesting generators, and sometimes even manifestors, build their business, online business, entrepreneur business in a more traditional way. And it works. It just works like it's supposed to. If a projector goes in and tries to create the same system that a generator or manifesting generator that works for them, chances are it's not going to work for the projector, because their energy is different. Their business is different. It actually needs to be simple and easy, or a lot of systems put into place that lead people into, working with them one-on-one, or however it is that they are doing it. But the projector is here to be the specialist and to show up. And if they're hardcore, like if they're actually like in doing the work itself, like if they're a consultant or doing design work or anything like that, where they're actually doing the work itself, it needs to be in small chunks, and it needs to be 2 to 3 hours at a time, max, and then they're off. But here's the thing, during that 2 to 3 hours, because the projector knows the system so intimately and inside and out, backwards, forwards. They just know. They're designed to know systems. They can get it done, and they can run circles around all the generators and manifesting generators for the finite amount of time. And that's when they get recognized as like the super slave. They're like, we need you to do this all the time. Like, be this awesome person all the time. But in order for them to show up and be that awesome person all the time, they need a lot of rest. And they need a lot of alone time, their own little corner of the house where they have time to recharge, time outside, where, you know, grounding, a deep spiritual practice, whatever it is that restores them, having fun. Fun is a big key thing for a projector, because fun helps release stress type energy. And when they're having a lot of fun doing something, they can do it all day long. And if their work is fun, because also projectors are natural guides and coaches. So being a coach, I don't know if the people that you had, that you were coaching, if they were also coaches, if they were building a coaching type business, but they're naturally great coaches. And so like for me, when I'm coaching, I 6, 7, 8 hours a day coaching people all day long. And it's fun to me. It's energizing. I'm being seen and heard, and it's not draining to me. But I also only do it 4 days a week, and I always take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. You know, so I build in that time frame where, you know, I have flexibility throughout the week, but I can also stack my clientele up if I want to. You know, like if I'm doing a big program, I could come on in. Like I will coach you all day long type of thing. But if they're doing the down and dirty type of work, they need to come in and be the specialist 2 to 3 hours, and then pop out and go have fun, go get a massage, go do your thing. But also the thing is that kind of trips up and hangs up projectors is that when they're coming in and they're coming in as a specialist and they're coming in for 2 to 3 hours, they actually need to get paid the full-time rate. So the same person that's making full-time wages over here, that's the generator, is going to be slowly trucking through it, bit by bit by bit by bit. The projector can come in, and what will take a generator 8 to 10 hours in a day to do, the projector can come in 2 to 3 hours and get it all knocked out. So the amount of, like, the work itself is the same, if not better. So the pay needs to be the same. So the projector, it's really important for a projector to start stepping into the worth and value of themselves so that they get paid as the specialist and get paid to do part-time work on a full-time salary.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm all about, yeah. And you know what, we've all, as entrepreneurs, we have all been through the journey of learning to value ourselves, stepping into our unique gifts, and then receiving appropriate compensation for it. We've all been through that. We all know how that works. And if there are any of you who are watching this at any point, I'm going to encourage you, just value what you do, get into your unique zone and the way that you contribute the most value with the least amount of effort on your part. And by that, I mean, listen, when you're tuned in, you can do, like Natalie said, you can do it all day long and it comes easily to you. There are points in your business where you will feel weighed down by the marketing or the creating the course or all the minute details. And I'm here to encourage you to just stay in your zone, hire everything else out, stay in your zone, because that's where all of those pieces line up together and you will be compensated for your unique contribution, because you'll be able to do it in the most graceful way with the most amazing results. I mean, you will impact people beyond your comprehension. And it's just a completely different game. We're not here to drive ourselves into the ground. Right, Natalie?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not even generators and manifesting generators, even though you guys are designed to do the work, it needs to be in alignment with that yes, because if it's not in alignment, you're not going to have the energy to do it, because there's no life force energy coming from the sacral center to actually get it done. And that's when you drive yourself into the ground.
Yeah.
But if your sacral center is lit up, you have the energy to do it all day long. And it's love doing it all day long, you know, and it feels good to do it. And so when you're in that space, then at the end of the day, you're satisfied, you did a good job, and you hit your pillow with your head, and you're out, and you sleep like a baby, you know? So it's like, job well done.
Yep.
It's fantastic. But the yes needs to be there. The clarity needs to be there, because without it, you're going to run around in circles, and the projectors are going to be over here going, would you like a better solution for this?
I see it clearly. Is anybody going to invite me in? Oh, that was the other thing that I wanted to mention about projectors. As a manifesting generator, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, there are two profound projectors who have helped me through that process of, hey, in case you're interested, you know, I can see the clear path. I can see the door. One of those mentors got me, we had a conversation, and I know she's a projector. I didn't know what that meant before understanding human design, but I was going through, it was after I closed my business in 2015, and I was like, nothing is working, and I need help to figure out where to go from here. And she clearly was like, here's the door. And I said, okay. And I just went. And then the second projector experience with that was with you. I mean, we had a conversation, and you just pulled up the chart, and then from there, you know, I was like, where can I find out more? And then I hired you, right? And I was like, where can I find out more? Because this really, you know, it's really important as a coach and as a guide for me to understand who I am, so I know how I work best, and to understand everything that I feel going on inside of me. I mean, that's just important as a human being. As an entrepreneur, you're going to need that information. And then it just helps me understand my clients on a deeper level. How do they work? Where is their energy center? Where is their power coming from? And how can I help them get back to that? So yeah, it's hugely been beneficial. So for those of you who are manifesting generators and working hard and feeling like you've just got to truck along, please reach out to a projector that you feel aligned with, so that, because the projector is like, guys, I'm just waiting for you. I'm just waiting for you to ask me.
You really are. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of answers, I'd love if you would tell everyone how to get in contact with you and how you work best with people.
Okay. So as a projector, I work best as being a guide and coach to people. So I love getting down into the details and helping people map stuff out with all of their the little nuances and stuff, because there's going to be yeses and nos along the way. What's the big picture? Are you on your right path? What is that? To get back into that alignment with yourself, so that you can show up as the best version of yourself and do the work that you're here to do. You know, so I help people so much with that, and then help implement systems. No, I don't implement them, but I help you figure out how to implement them all. Because I'm kind of a techie, like a little bit of a tech geek on the back end with stuff. And so if people need guidance through all like the tech nuances and stuff, like I've been there, and I've gone through pretty much all of the platforms that are out there, and I know which ones are good for people and which ones are not. And so I'm not afraid to get down in the dirt with people and figure out what are these little steps, because that's a lot of my design. So that's in essence a little bit about what I do. And I'm always doing it in like whenever I have calls with people, like even here with Randi, I have the human design chart pulled up and I'm looking at it. So as you're talking, I'll be like, yes, it's showing up here. Okay, that's conditioning here. Where's this, these little nuances are showing up where I can guide people in the best way possible for them. So my website is nataliemarie.collins.com. And there is a work with me tab up at the top that you can pop up there and schedule a free call. I do 30-minute calls. So if you feel that this may be a good connection with you, like we can hop on a call and see if your intuition is right or if it's off. Like I'm totally open because I want it to be the correct invitation, because without the correct invitation, it feels yucky to both of us. I want to make sure that it's a good invitation for both of us to work together. So
awesome. Well, and I can say from experience, because we've worked together, and I'll continue to work with you as I dive deeper into these nuances of my human design and where I want to go in my business. And one of the things that you said to me, which was hugely helpful, is that I've always had sort of like this idea of like 5 business arms, right? Mm-hmm. 5 revenue generating businesses. And one of the things that you helped me understand in our consult was I'm designed to do that. And I was like, oh, well, heck, where has this information been my entire life, right? It was so awesome. And you helped me really understand, yeah, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And I was like, that's exactly what I've been thinking. So from personal experience, I know how dialed in I was after our consult, and you're going to help me build those systems for those businesses, because listen, all I know is what I want and that I have the desire to do it. I need someone from the outside to go, okay, so, based on who you are and what you desire and how you work best, here's my input. And from there comes the clarity, and from there comes the yes. And then I can move forward, which is brilliant, because you sort of create that clear path for me to reach my yes. And then I'm like off and running. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I love it when I'm guiding people, they always walk away with knowing what exactly they're doing next in between our calls. So what you just described is so much of what I do is come in there and you get clarity on what it is that you need, but it comes from that yes place. It's not like, I don't ever want to come in as like the taskmaster and like, you've got to do this and this and this. It's always based on what is actually correct for you and what do you have the energy to do. And if you don't have the energy to do it and it still needs to get done, maybe that needs to get outsourced, or does it really need to get done? And so I dive in and explore that with people and get into what is actually correct for you to do and what's not, and how is your business really designed to work and how is it not? And so we get into those details so that you create a real business that supports who you are and not some cookie cutter idea of what you think it should be.
Yeah. And that's so important, because I know that we all went through transition between like 2017 and 2019. I went through my own transition too. Cookie cutter systems are good for the pieces that you can extract. Mm-hmm. But I think it is naive to think that you can just cut and paste a system and create the same results that the person who is teaching it has created. Because I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not like anybody else. And it's important to me to build a business that supports who I am, how I operate, what I desire, my goals in life, so that I can feel, like literally feel internally good about what I'm doing and feel energized, not drained.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
And for anyone who works with me on a high level, your work with Natalie actually comes with our coaching. So that's something to keep in mind. Natalie is someone, we've known each other for years, and she's someone that I trust deeply. And since I've gotten into this human design stuff, I'm like, whoa, so much makes sense for me that, yeah, anyone who works with me, you guys get to work with Natalie. I pay Natalie.
Yep. It's included.
I pay you to do work that you love to do. Yay!
I know. It's such a great gift.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I get to do what I love to do and get paid. Hell yes!
Who knew, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Novel idea. Anyway, is there anything else that you want to mention? I feel like we should do a series of these because there's so much more that we can talk about and dive into and help people with.
That would be awesome. I'd love to hear feedback from people too, because I know you're posting this up. So as stuff comes in, if people want to hear a series about this, like give us a yes or no about all of this, because there's so much more that can be dove into and talked about with this. I have been in my personal experiment for, as of this recording, for 3 years with like just every day I'm learning about stuff. Every day I'm experimenting with it. I'm a trial and error type of person. So my design is I'm here to trial and error it out, find out what works and what doesn't, and then bring it back to the tribe and saying, hey guys, I figured out what works. As like a little mad scientist in my office for a while, and like figured this stuff out. And hey, I got the thing. Like this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work, but this worked.
Awesome.
And so I do the same thing with systems and stuff too, but the human design system, once it came to me and I was invited into learning about this system, and really like I've just been full force because it made so much sense around things that like I had pieces here and like I had heard my inner authority, and with the first time I ever listened to my unique inner authority, it changed my entire life. But it was I had to get to the space of giving myself permission to actually listen and follow to it because it was scary. And it was a huge epic leap with this. And so once I understood, oh, that was my inner authority and I can follow that, I help support and build a foundation and hold the space for the foundation for people to also dive into their inner authority and take those leaps as well, and trust that they'll all come out okay at the other end, and I help guide them through that nuance of it as well, and just getting into who they are. The cool thing about this is, as a projector and from my beginning inner authority stuff, I've actually, my entire being, my body has been tuned into feeling other people's yes and no's. And so that was a really interesting thing to come across, is I've been like training myself because I had been listening to my inner authority and then introduced it to human design and diving into it even more. I was like, I've been training for this for a long time type of thing. So it's become really fun for me to have words around what I've been feeling for so long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to talk about this all day long.
Yeah, it's been amazing working with you. And I definitely, guys, give us feedback, let us know, because both Natalie and I are relying on you to go, hey, yeah, we need this. That's how we work. So let us know. And maybe next time we'll have some questions. We'll cover some questions. But I think that trusting your inner authority, that would be an amazing section to talk about. But anyway, we will go brainstorm about all the wonderful information that we can bring to you through human design and to help you understand your true self. In the meantime, please, if you feel called, please invite Natalie to work with you. Just go to nataliemarie.collins.com for more information. I'll make sure to link her website below. And then for those of you who feel called to work with me, just know that working with Natalie is included in your coaching program. In any case, I'm sure that we'll be back with more information. Thanks so much for watching this video. Again, give us your feedback. Let us know what you would like to learn more about, and we will happily convey the information to you. We're sending you so much love. Bye for now.
Bye.